SAG actor, the guy from True Blood. So it's still
that's cool.
On the phone every day still. So hopefully we can get it all squared away early this week. Tomorrow, hopefully, is what I'm hoping for. Then we'll be all good for the DVD release.
How did he get involved? Was it just through regular casting, or did y'all have a friend of a friend that knew him, or?
No, it's a funny story. Me and Jay were sitting there. We're like, who can we get? We got to get some kind of someone would recognize. And the first person we approached for that role was Eric Estrada.
Oh God, that'd be awesome.
Because
pretty cool.
It's a Spanish movie. It's a Latino cast. We got funded to make a Spanish movie, and then we were like, we went to the guy who funded us, and I'm like, can we do an English version as well? He's like, sure, as long as it's on the same budget. So we actually shot 2 films. Beware is actually done completely in Spanish as well, with the exception of
crazy.
people. Yeah, with the exception of people like Adam Ledbetter who don't speak Spanish. There's a few people that will be subtitled. But we started with Eric Estrada, and he turned us down because there was sex from behind.
That's crazy. Eric Estrada turned you down. That's something almost to be proud of.
I think so.
Got turned down by Eric Estrada.
And then me and Jason started thinking, who else? Because we were thinking of someone from the 80s, because we wanted it to be a throwback 80s type of film.
Yeah.
So we approached Corey Feldman.
Oh God! That's awesome.
That was fun. He was actually booked, so he couldn't do it. But his manager actually represents Corey Haim as well. And they said, hey, how about Corey Haim? And me and Jason looked at each other and we kind of laughed and said, I don't know. and then we, of course, Corey Haim passed away, and right afterwards, we're like, oh man.
That's pretty crazy because we had a conversation about him tonight. Yeah. That's weird.
And then we were really thinking about we tried to get Tony Todd.
Oh, good.
The guy who represents Tony Todd represents Adam Ledbetter, and he's like, Tony's unavailable, but I got this guy Adam, who's available if you guys want to check him out. So that's how Adam came to be as part of the film.
That's pretty crazy because when I first saw the trailer before I'd watched the movie, that is the face that stuck out because he was the butler from I guess it was season 2 of True Blood. I forget what his name was in True Blood, but do you remember that? It was Carl. That's it. I like Carl in True Blood. I felt bad that I think he got shot in the face in True Blood or something like that. Yeah. But that I'll give you all that. That is one thing that I did when I watch Beware. That is one thing that I like because I said this about Down the Road too. Is that they feel like kind of throwback 80s. Yeah. Kind of movie, maybe even more so with Beware because it does kind of play like Friday the 13th and kind of stuff like that. So.
One thing I didn't want to do is I didn't want to make a parody. A lot of movies will say they're a throwback, and it's like they're more like they're making fun of the movies. Right. I just wanted to let's just do like they did back then. We have a low budget. Let's just make one of those type of movies and take ourselves somewhat seriously. I mean, the movie is fun at some points, but we try to be dark. But we didn't want to make a comedy. That's what a lot of these, and I guess in the late 80s, a lot of them were like parodies of themselves. So we kind of say it's more like a late 70s, early 80s slasher.
Well, yeah, and I think I think that probably helped y'all too because, slasher movies that kind of really started really in the late 70s with Halloween, and then they were very popular until 85 or maybe 86, and then they started to decline, and then Scream brought it back for a little while in the 90s, but now they're gone again. I can't remember most of the horror movies that they make now. It's either a remake or
sequel.
A sequel or something. It's
already a franchise.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool to see some old school slasher movies kind of making a comeback
because those are what they started as.
Yeah. Well, I kind of felt proud too. Go ahead.
Jason and I grew up on. We both love that stuff, and we through this course we've had people say, you guys probably should do something like a a ghost. We're not sure a slasher will work. Not sure it'll
ghosts.
Do ghosts. Ghosts is what's hot. And we don't want to do
and
another
vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah, screw that noise. I'm already sick of daggum. Like, I saw the daggum trailer for daggum, what was it, Paranormal Activity 3. I was like, they're making a third one.
Well, to me, Ghost is just not that scary. I don't know about, the average person, but it don't scare me that much.
No. It's not that scary.
Everybody's
more scared of a weirdo.
A ghost's not going to come through my slider like Shane did.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Be more scared of your next door neighbor who could be crazy, or whoever that's a serial killer or whatever, versus a ghost.
Yeah. Now, how did y'all go about like financing the movie? Because y'all said that y'all had somebody to finance it, so I'm guessing it was not that y'all, like kind of put up your own movie. So how did y'all? Number one, how did y'all find financing? And because you just said you made 2 movies. You made 2 versions of the same movie?
We made the first as a micro budget.
No, he said that there was a Spanish version and an English version.
Yeah, they did make
what we did, I'll let Shawn talk about the financing, but I'll tell you what we did with the we had to film both movies for the same budget. So we just we would do 2 takes in English, 2 takes in Spanish. And just try to, and when I say 2, I'm very loose when I say that, because it could have been like 10 takes in English and then 4 in Spanish. But, we had to get it right, and then it made things tough. I would never want to do it again, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody out there. But I'll let Shawn tell you how we got the funding.
Well, the funding is kind of interesting. We our day jobs. Jason and I work as editors for a company that they run a bunch of Spanish networks around the country. A lot of them on Comcast. And the owner of the company, his name's Tom Moeller. He likes to finance. He likes to finance lower budget films to get original programming for his networks.
Oh, okay.
So I've been working with Tom Moeller now for about 10 years, and I always wanted to do a movie, and he kept saying, when you want to do the movie, and me and Jason have been working on it for a while, and it's like the time was right, and I said, we want to do the movie. And he's like, okay, then we got to get you the money. It didn't come that easily. It took a little bit after he said, okay, to get the money, but he funded the movie completely. So he funded it, though, to make a Spanish movie. And then we're like, can we do an English version as well? And he was all about it.
It out as a Spanish movie.
Yeah,
I guess that would kind of work out for him, because I guess he's kind of getting like double the product, but he's able to sell it in the Spanish market and English.
Yeah, he completely owns the Spanish rights of the film too. I mean, when that the English version though is the bigger seller, the Spanish DVD market's not as big as the English one, so we have to hold on to the Spanish version for a couple of years, so we don't ruin the English version's prices. So.
It didn't used to be that way. I remember, like, in the 90s, there was, like, a whole boom of, like, Spanish. It was, like El Mariachi was, like, part of that. There was, like, a big boom of, like, just made for Spanish. Like, and I guess it's gone now, but the Spanish video market used to be huge.
Well, the company they're talking about, or the My Entertainment's big on Spanish movies.
Oh, yeah?
They make a lot of Spanish, or release a lot of Spanish movies.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that was good. That's how we kind of got in, is that, it's the whole Spanish cast and stuff like that. And we don't even play it like, the Spanish cast is like making some kind of a point on, like, immigration into America or nothing. It's just Spanish people in the movie, and that's it. We just.
Well, I didn't even necessarily notice that they were Spanish. I mean, I guess you could tell. You could tell some of them were, but I didn't necessarily go like, oh, there's a bunch of Spaniards, like, what are all these Spaniards doing in my movie or something? Is that even the correct term?
What we wanted. We wanted it just to feel just like any other movie,
Right.
Yeah, it does, and it does play like kind of other slasher films. So.
Mm-hmm. And going back to the financing, Jason can help with this. Is we were getting ready to shoot, and we still didn't have the money in our hands, so it was kind of.
Oh wow!
I think we got the check a week before we went into shooting. Jay, was that about right?
Like a week or two before, and we had certain people that like might have had other obligations, and we just had people hanging on by a thread, and people already taking their vacations from work, and it finally, we finally got the check, and it was like, a breath of fresh air.